Warsim is what you get when you combine a text adventure game with kingdom management sprinkled with a fuckload of randomization. When starting a new game, you decide how many years you want to reign for. Then, you decide what your name, title, and kingdom's name will be, as well as how you came to power. You can also decide what kind of races your kingdom's neighbours will be comprised of. I would list all of the available races, but I think that would take just a little too long. Not only this, but every race on the map starts with a prefix affecting what kind of variation on the race they are. For example, the neighbours of my kingdom are dastardly gnomes, rainbow lizards, chaotic trolls, and breeding draconians. Each of these combinations affect the state of the faction's kingdom, as well as what their population size and physical strength will be at a baseline. During an average turn, you'll have access to a list of commands to help you manage your kingdom. Let's go through some of the more important ones. Recruit, sell, and disband troops. I of course recommend buying as many goblins as possible, as they are cheap, plentiful, and not subject to human rights laws. But if you must hire from other sources, let me just run down the list for you. Peasants are about on par with goblins combat-wise, but demand too many luxuries such as payment and healthcare. Also, if they die, you lose a taxpayer and a field worker. Soldiers are your meat and potato grunts. You'll be doing most of the heavy lifting with these guys if you decide to gimp yourself out of superior goblin strategies. Knights are expensive, effective, and charged with the responsibility of turning your weedy peasants into beefed out soldiers. You can also recruit bandits from your prisons. As well as easing the overcrowding issue, hiring these morally dubious entrepreneurs will give you a small cut of money from their scallywag adventures in your neighbour's territory. You can also change wages in this screen, but why would you? Change laws of the land. Here you can change specific laws regarding different aspects of your kingdom's finances, culture, and morality. Aside from increasing taxes and further increasing taxes, you can also free slaves, free the goblins, or force everyone to wear hats. Kingdom upgrades. Here you can invest in essential infrastructure such as council housing and seek ads. Alright, now before we move on to the next tab, I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't understand how a lot of this game works. There's a tab for managing your council and champions, but I don't know what all of their uses are. I hired a shitty gnome whistler to be my court musician, and I made a knight fistfight some other dude to be my champion. That's about the extent of my knowledge of this system. I'd advise speaking to Old Kroll if you needed more information on things like this. The throne room. The beautiful thing about Warsim is that it makes you truly feel like the head of a strange fantasy state. Every year you can accept the unwashed masses into your court to hear out their requests. Sometimes you'll have generous, valuable members of society offering you a Cthulian tentacle they found while digging for treasure. Other times you'll have to deal with a dispute between John the Horse Jerker and Timothy the Rat Squeezer over who's responsible for the broken fence. I'll give you a hint. Timothy doesn't jump fences. But here's the beauty of it. You don't need to understand all of it to have fun playing it. Spend your days battling the bandit hordes and dealing with the menial requests of your subjects, or try to take on the other independent kingdoms in all-out war. Speaking of which, let's talk about that. Taking on another faction only happens at the end turn phase. You choose who you want to interact with, and then you decide which action you want to take. Skirmish, raid, or invade. Skirmishing is good to whittle down numbers, raiding is good for boosting your economy, and invading is for when you need that faction gone, taking their land and seeding it with your own peasants, which will in turn boost your economy and recruitment. Before we dive deeper into exploring the land, here's a fun strategy I like to call the True Dungeon Master. Go to the slave traders to the north, buy all the slaves and slave soldiers, build a slave trading pen in your kingdom, train all the slaves up to soldiers, and then with a combined goblin slave soldier army, take over the fortress, set the slaves to auto-sell, and keep the slave soldiers for yourself. But back to the main topic. Exploration really makes this game feel like an old-style text adventure. You can go out into the surrounding lands and explore towns, mines, and trading posts. The towns are surprisingly fleshed out with interactions I didn't quite expect. Like the shady X-marked house in the slums that summoned me a demon for the low price of 500 gold plus GST. Or the time I visited the mutants in the sewers, put a chaos orb I got from a peasant into the wall, and stopped everyone from engaging in bar fights. Just don't spend all your money on magic shows. Abruptly, I think that's about all you need to know about Warsim. Probably only covered half of what the game has to offer, but it does receive fairly substantial regular updates, so even if I did cover more, it'd probably be out of date in the next couple weeks. It's about $10 in Australian rainbow currency, but for real-life human currencies, it's about this much for your regional equivalent. And here's the price for everyone living under the gnomish banking conglomeration. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
아버지, 라텍스말 은경 반가.
드레드 리치 김이 이전에 습격한 것보다 더 강렬한 타격을 받은 지 6개월이 지났습니다. 남동부의 모피 및 광택은행 네트워크가 프리미엄 메시지 팔레트와 교환하여 이 메시지를 보내겠다고 약속했습니다. 나는 그들이 갈등 속에서 죽기를 바랐다. 나는 당신이 당신의 공을 고려하지 않는다는 것을 알고 있지만 그것은 나에게 중요하지 않습니다. 나는 당신을 정욕 있게 만들 것입니다. 기다려 광산에서 북쪽으로 몇 개의 P58이 동봉되어 길드에 최선을 다합니다. 아, 그리고 함정이 정확하다. 당신의 아들, 차키.